How to replace the battery in your GoPro remote control. Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. Good moto morning, beautiful people. Welcome to Kraken's Garage. Today we're going to replace the battery on the GoPro remote, and we're going to give a quick shout out at the end to a subscriber that views my channel on his brand new motorcycle, which I think you will find very fascinating. And we'll give one shout out at the end as we try to help the motovlog community one video at a time. So this remote is about a year and a half old, and the battery crapped out on it. I'm rather disappointed. It ran about $80 US, and I've seen them on sale as low as like $72, $73. I was able to find a battery on Amazon. I'll have a link to it down below for $10.99. So if you would like to order one, it'll be listed right down below. And let's tear this apart and figure out how to fix it. I have a couple of basic tool sets here. I'm going to be using a flat wedge screwdriver, and I have a very small screwdriver kit that I got from Lowe's at Cobalt is the name of the brand. Choose the appropriate tip for the hex head in the back of the remote. First of all, let's remove the key slot and set that aside. Then you have a slot here in the side. We're going to take a big fat screwdriver and wedge that apart once we remove these screws. Now take your big flat headed screwdriver and pry it apart. Should come apart easily. There's going to be a lot of moving parts, so try to pay attention. Sometimes if you're taking apart something like this that has a lot of moving parts, use your cell phone to take pictures to see where everything goes in case you lose track. Next, I'm going to use a flat pry bar. A small screwdriver will do well, and you'll need to separate this from the rest of the case, and this section should lift right out gently. And there's the culprit, the dead battery. Just small note to the wise, when you pry this cap off, normally this spring-loaded connector will disengage. It pops in exactly like I'm showing. Now there's different variations of these remotes, so I don't know what gen this is, but this particular one only has one screw and it's a regular Phillips head. So I need a tiny Phillips head screwdriver to remove this one screw. Don't lose it. And this should pull right apart. Now you see you have a ribbon cable right here. It's real easy to unplug, but just be careful handling this because it's very fragile. It's a rascal to get it plugged back in. So my advice to you is leave that in. Now the battery here is just stuck onto the circuit board with some double-sided tape or glue or something. So we'll need to pull that off as gently as you can. So that was a bit of a bear to get off, but the glue was super tough. You can see you have 3 soldering connectors. It goes black, white, and red. And what we're going to do is solder the new battery on, which actually has a connector, and we need to snip that off and then cut the ends off, the coating off the ends. And you can see I snipped the connector off and removed the covering on the wires. Next, we're going to remove this battery. Remember, black, white, and red. Okay, we just stuck a piece of double-sided tape. I'm not going to use glue in this case. And we're going to stick it to the back of the circuit board where it was previously. Make sure your ribbon is tightly secured, and then anchor it with that tiny screw. Okay, now we're going to put the sub cover back on, and these 2 connectors right here have to touch these 2 probes right here. Okay, we'll tighten down the circuit board with the tiny Phillips head. Perfect. And now we're going to install this. We need these 2 prongs to touch these 2 pads, and we need these 2 prongs to touch these 2 pads. Now before, I haven't put it all back together, I'm just holding it together with my fingers. We're going to check and see if the battery works. Let's hit the power button. Don't know if you can see that, but she's firing up. Perfect, and she's looking for a GoPro camera. So let's power it back off. Now the final step is to put this cover back on with the spring-loaded lever. There's a little divot there for the spring that you can make out, and we're going to put this sliding lever right there, and it semi-compresses the spring, and a detent holds in that lever really nice for you there. And we'll pop this cover back on. and then cinch her down tight. This is just a normal hex head, so you can use a normal set of hex head wrenches if you have a tiny one to use. Okay, let's plug in our charging port and make sure that that's working appropriately. Beautiful, and it's charging up. And a real quick shout out to one of my viewers, Gordon, who just purchased a brand new BSA Gold Star 650. This is the resurrection of the brand BSA. I believe they're made in India. And I asked him to send me a couple of pics in the email to share with everybody. So this is, for me personally, the first time I've seen a new BSA in the wild. Congratulations goes out to Gordon on that beautiful new bike. I'll be interested to see how it works out for you. And you know what time it is. This week's shout out goes to SlappyAdventures. He has 2,430 subs. He has a whopping 1,700 videos out. He's currently on a giant trip with a group of his friends, all proclaiming his videos, "I survived Slappy's adventures." So he's having a lot of fun there. He's up in Montana, and he's heading into Canada over to Alaska right now as we speak. His motto is sharing my lifestyle of motorcycle, traveling, pranks, old cars, family, singing, job, day trip, camping, kids sports, trucking, etc. My life's journey, the good and the bad times. You only got one life to live, and take a friend with you. Thanks for watching. He's rocking a gold wing. He also has a trailer that he tows behind for all his camping gear on his adventures. So Boot and Jeans are the ones that turned me on to Slappy's Adventures. I happened to see him pop up on one of their channels, and he was helping them out. He is a solid man. He's a huge member of the community, helping out others on two wheels, and he creates his own adventures and takes people with him. That's just fantastic. I just love the dude's content. If you go by and check him out and you decide to subscribe, please let him know that Kraken sent you. And with that, there's my ghost dog, Bullet. He's up here to remind me to wrap things up. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit the subscribe button right down there in the corner. And remember, folks, go riding because it's good for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.